Thank you for coming back. This part of the program, we didn't have any rehearsal. Actually, we ran over some of the beginnings of the tunes for the first time in years. But Duke Ellington was asked, what advice do you have for people who want to play this complex, beautiful international music that we call jazz or classical or folk or anything? What's the secret? And he said, listen. So that's what you're going to hear now. And if you have imaginations and you're told that you suck and you're never going to get anywhere by doing what you're doing because it's old-fashioned and out of style or never was in style, appreciate those sage suggestions, but hang out with somebody else who says yes. This will be the first and last performance of a piece I'm sure you all like to hear, and so would the band. It's an F, just to give a hint, and it's called the Lowell Blues, Moody Street Memories, because Moody Street's not here anymore, but the beautiful music that they played that Jack loved as much as he loved Bach is here and influenced his writing and his living. Well, this is Moody Street Memories. Just imagine you with Jack years ago. And Moody Street was hopping every night with all kinds of music. All Lowell natives know. They and Jack informed me that was part of the university hangoutology. That's all I'm going to say with all of ye. Well, to get things started, let's hear Jerome Harris play the blues. And when it's done, you won't need a Baedeker information handbook to say what you already knew, because the music expresses itself each and every day. That was the Lowell Blues, Moody Street way. Him play the blues, let's have a hand. For Jerome Harris, he's a one-man band. We're so glad he could come up here again and play for all of you. And if you have a guitar or any instrument in your basement, you'll know you're not through. You're just beginning as we're doing every day. Let's hear a little bass solo from Rene. Now, if you really think that you deserve to go to heaven, be sure you take that trip and be certain to listen one more time to Mr. Kevin. Because when he plays the drum, you don't know where that inspiration comes from. But you'll remember it. Doesn't mean you're dumb. It only means that you hear what a fantastic musician he is. Kevin's gonna play a little drum solo and we'll clap along as he is. That's the end of the song. You might not remember the lyrics, and neither did I, because I just made up on the spot. Not to be worried about right or wrong. And if nothing else, the song is not too long. So in conclusion, avoided the confusion of the modern times. Don't worry about the reason or the rhymes. As Shakespeare said, the brevity is the soul of wit. I guess for that song, this is just about it. So we thank you very much for coming tonight. And your attendance, yea, verily out of sight. And now, thank you, for something a little more familiar. This is written by the great Sonny Rollins, and many of you saw Jerome here, I'm sure, over the years, when he played in the famous suburb of Lowell called Boston, or Boston, depending on which part of Boston you come from. He played the best electric bass in the world, but he's also a great guitar player, and we're fortunate that he's here with us with his busy schedule all over the world playing guitar. And this is one that he played with Sonny. I guess you've heard him playing bass with it. I don't know if you played guitar with him or not. Not in this tune, but when you hear it, you'll know it, and we're so glad to play it for you. And it was a folk song that his folks used to sing to him. And when I went down to St. Thomas, they said, "Where are that sign? We've been singing that for all our lives, but that's a folk song." But he turned it into a jazz classic because it's beautiful. It stays beautiful no matter what idiom you put it in, as long as you honor it. It's called St. Thomas. next is one I never thought I would make, but Nora Guthrie, Woody Guthrie's daughter, asked me if we would come up with our group. And Jerome was away, so we got a wonderful guitarist to play for us, Justin. And we did this one tune, and she liked it so much. She said, "You guys are all here, and I'm paying the studio in Catskill, New York, named Old Souls Studios. So, do you know any other songs by Woody?" I said, "Well, like everyone of my age, I grew up hearing some of his wonderful songs, and I know a few of them." She said, "Well, do them with the band." So we threw something together, which is our specialty. And with great musicians, the key of doing it is to do it and get out of the way. And it's amazing what people will create when they know they're appreciated and have just a small parameter of guidance, and after that you just stay out of the way. That's also the secret in conducting symphonies and in doing anything and everything in life. The Native American folks say, a good leader is a good follower. Or, as Duke Ellington says, if it sounds good, it is good. Or, as Igor Stravinsky said, when something was too long, it was a marvelous piece, but it went on 10 minutes after it was over. So, sometimes it's good to have the editing process known as throwing the junk in the wastebasket. So this is one that we did without ever realizing it would come out so well. So we did. I said, "Well, I know one or two other ones," and I did those. She said, "Why don't we do some more? We'll have a whole record." So I have a record out, which I never dreamed I would do, singing 5 Woody songs and 1 Phil Oakes song. And this is one of the ones we did that Nora and Woody's granddaughter liked a lot. And Arlo even liked it and said, "Do it." So I'm using an instrument. The Smithsonian Institute would probably get a new director if they ever heard this and thought it would have anything to do with folk music, since music is created by folks from before Bach's time up until right now, including folks right here in Lowell. And somehow the sound that I learned from this instrument, hearing it in Chengdu, China, fit right into the Woody song called Pastures of Plenty. And when I did it, they had commissioned me to write a symphony, a regular symphonic theme and variations. And we conducted it with a Colorado Symphony. We had a wonderful performance of it. So I thought if they knew I had finished it before they actually heard the symphony played, they had asked me to tear it up and hire somebody else. But they liked it, so we recorded it as Nora liked it, and she liked the rest of it too. I mention that to you because if someone likes what you're doing, don't tell them how much you feel you're inadequate, because you'll hurt their feelings. Just find a way to do it anyway. So this is called Pastures of Plenty, played a little differently than what you hear on the Folkways recordings, but the words are of tremendous importance. And to show you how important they are, I'm going to ask my marvelous daughter, who's also a great organizer, if she can get the book that I have buried in one of my carefully prepared bags. Is Adira still here? Oh, well, a lot of them might be asleep or gone. She did? She doesn't know which bag it's in, does she? Oh, really? No. Okay, it's called Pastures of Plenty, and the reason I asked for it is that even though I make up a lot of stuff on the spot, I also have a great regard to honor the words of people who have created that music. And this is a wonderful, can you go back and get it here? It's the very beginning, thank you.
That's kind of it.
Okay, that's the wrong one. That's it.
Okay, hold on. It's stuck.
And I have another one called When I'm Gone, that's number 2. So these are Woody Guthrie's words, which is very inspiring to hear and to play with. And I'm going to have to move this up. That's okay, you see me enough. Kev, I know you're there, I can hear you, Pops. All right, thank you for being patient, folks. We got everything psyched out except for this, but I'm putting these up not to be creative, but not to ruin it by being recreative. I can stick this one up and I'll see what Woody Guthrie himself wrote. And when I wrote my opera, Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, every word was Shakespeare's. And if you're accompanying or arranging or doing a different version of someone's song, just listen, pay attention to the words, because they'll tell you what to do. And that's the same when I did the music for The Manchurian Candidate. I said, whoa, it's such a far out movie. What do I do, Mr. Frankenheimer? He was the director. He said, well, two things. Number one, it's not a Chinese war movie. And number two, the film will tell you what to do. So if you're writing music for a song, including your own lyrics of something you wrote when you were in high school that everybody thinks is terrible, it turns out to be pretty good, just honor what the words tell you to do. That's how Jack and I did those poetry readings way back then. We tried not to get in each other's way. We listened, and I always paid attention to what he was doing. And if you do that, you can't go wrong. Sounds simple, and it is simple. That's why it's not taught that way in most schools. Because then people would say, well, I'm paying all that tuition just to hear that. This is Pastures of Plenty. And if you like it, you can write your own music and use his words. And it was also, Arlo told me that he used three or four different tunes a week for anything that he did, but he always wanted you to get the words right because he was a great poet. So that's the E natural. Okay, this is our version of Pastures of Plenty. Okay, Rene, stop. Go ahead, now play. Just E, just E. It's a mighty hard road that my poor hands have hold. My poor feet have traveled a hot, dusty road. Out of the Dust Bowl, westward we rolled. And your deserts were hot, and your mountains were cold. I slept on the ground in the light of the moon. I worked in your orchards of peaches and prunes. On the edge of the city, you'll see us, and then we go with the dust, and we go with the wind. California, Arizona, I harvest your crops. Well, it's north up to Oregon to gather your hops. Dig the beets from your ground, cut the grapes from your vine. To set on your table for your light, sparkling wine. Green pastures aplenty from the dry desert ground. From the Grand Coulee Dam, where the waters run down. Every state in the Union, us migrants have been. We'll work in this fight, and we'll fight till we win. It's always we ramble that river. Along your green valley, I will work until I die. My land I'll defend with my life if it need be. 'Cause my pastures are plenty, must always be free. My land I'll defend with my life, if it need be. 'Cause my pastures are plenty, must always be free. Nice. Thank you. Now, where I'm going, and now we're going to have another jiffy from the, this is by Phil Oakes, who was a contemporary of Bob Dylan. And I guess journalists in the 60s, when they started to trash Jack Kerouac, decided had to have a villain after building him up. So they said, well, he doesn't write protest songs anymore. And actually, Phil was a great poet and a great patriot. And he wrote about this particular song. Is certainly not a protest song, but an advice to older people that they, us, also have a responsibility for doing something while we're here. And the name of it is, I'm sure you're familiar with it, a song that I did 2 weeks before he passed away. And again, did my own music, and he didn't care as long as he got the words correctly. I'll make up a few things at the end, but up until that part, the great songwriting is by Phil Oakes, who now is getting appreciated more than ever, not as a rival of Bob Dylan, but as a great poet, great songwriter, and great influence on people at the time and today. It's called When I'm Gone. There's no place in this world where I belong when I'm gone. And I won't know the right from the wrong when I'm gone. And you won't find me singing on this song when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. My pen won't pour out flowing times when I'm gone. My pen won't put out a lyric line when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. And I won't breathe the bracing air when I'm gone. And I can't even worry about my cares when I'm gone. I won't even be asked to do my share when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. And I won't be running from the rain when I am gone. And And I can't even suffer from the pain when I'm gone. Can't say who's to praise and who's to blame when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. All my days won't be dances of delight when I'm gone. And the sands will be shifting from my sight when I'm gone. Can't add my name into the fight when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. And I won't be laughing at the lies when I'm gone. And I can't question how or when or why when I'm gone. Can't live proud enough to die when I am gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. Well, there's no place in this world where I belong when I'm gone. And I won't know the right from the wrong when I'm gone. So I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. Yes, I guess I'll have to do it when I'm here. Yes, I guess I'll have to do it, and we'll all have to do it here. Since we're alive and we did survive a whole lot of messy nastiness in the past, and we've come to the bottom of the barrel. We can go low place but up at last. And all of us have a responsibility to every young person as well, to try and be honest and honorable and set a good example and always tell the truth as we see to respect others who feel differently. Because music and life is all about finding a way of harmony. And that's what Phil did, and that's what we can do too. In Lowell, Massachusetts, don't you know? The place that more people should investigate, and they should know. And they can read about Jack Kerouac and see that he was a product of this multicultural town, because he knew all the people in the world whose lives before here were going down. And that wonderful gumbo of polycultural scene is really something that we know we need. Well, we don't want the introduction or the coda of the song to be so long, so that's what we got to do before we're gone. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's actually not the melody that Phil wrote, obviously. It was all his words in the part. But actually the music I was making up because I forgot. The way we played it for the last years, I forgot how we did it on the recording. But sometimes when you do, it forces you to think of something else. And sometimes the something else is better for the occasion. So rather than apologizing to the band for being a nightmare, since they were listening and playing it like we've been doing it that way for years, I want to thank all of you too, because love is a two-way street, and so is music. And what you put out and what comes back, the feeling, none of us have a clue about why that is so different than listening to a record or going to a concert where everything is prearranged by a lawyer and a career counselor and someone with no knowledge of music or affection to their own children. That sometimes has a different result from actually playing, because all of you inspire all of us to have what we do sound different. And I don't understand that any more than I understand how whales can swim thousands of miles and come back to where they came from every year. And birds can go all the way from the North Pole down to Florida and come back and land in the same ponds, going and coming. A lot of stuff we don't understand, and that's the beauty of music and art, poetry and painting and everything. Like life itself is a big mystery. And that's cool. So we have one more piece to do, but before that I wrote with Jack Kerouac and with Neil Cassidy, his road buddy, and Allen Ginsberg. It's a song called Pulled My Daisy, and it's one that people request. And I remember when we first did it, there was one person I knew who worked in the post office when I did, and because of that, he was interested in what I did. And he said none of the postal workers, even when they were supposed to be looking at licking stamps and doing that stuff or replacing torn was ever, they would read all comic books, which I was brought up on, and we all were in our era, but they never actually read any Jack Kerouac books, and he was the only person for years, about 15 years, that would ever come to any of our concerts, and this is the one thing he wanted to hear. Now a lot of people have seen the home movie that we made. Some of you might have seen it, and the judges of the best documentary film, 100 best documentary films of the 20th century, included Pull My Daisy as one of the films. And all of us who made it were wondering, what were they smoking when they made that decision? But however, any of you here, especially the young folks, those that stayed, if you have an iPhone, you can make your own home movie with all the actors you know who don't have a job or people that would like to be in a movie, and all the musicians who played great, who never have done a film score. And you can, instead of spending 25 years trying to raise funds for a monumental production and then spending more money to get a distributor to distribute it, you can do it for nothing and just stick it up on YouTube, and you can be a filmmaker and pay your rent doing something else. And it's a wonderful thing that your generation, speaking to the young folks here, has that we didn't have. You can just do it and worry about all the rest of the stuff later on. And you can do it the way you like to do it. That's known as telling your story. This is what we did for fun, so we could show our grandchildren someday, if we had any, that we weren't just a bunch of old, sour, disillusioned, angry, nasty, narcissistic, egomaniacs, but just people that all like to hang out with each other and make our own home movie to show them that we also had some fun. And that, of course, was not part of the Beat Generation's commercial image for 30 or 40 years. But all good things come to those who wait. And now with the new culture center we're going to have, and with Lowell Celebrates Kerouac, and the town of Lowell itself getting behind one of their great native sons as a great artist, a great writer, and a great influence, all of that is irrelevant, negative darkness, which will go into what I call the landfill or the deservedly forgotten. And we'll just read Jack's books and feel a lot better as a result. This is a song that we made just for fun, and we'll end the evening with this. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts for coming, and all these great musicians who are here playing bass. Again, the fabulous Mr. Rene Hart. And the incredible guitarist who came all the way up here to play with us in Lowell, Massachusetts again. And a week later he's here, and we're so glad that you can get to hear him in such a wonderful environment. After the first year of the Sugar Shack in 1994, it wasn't quite this way, to put it mildly, but we persevered, and here we are in a beautiful, we want to thank Middlesex College for letting us have this room, and for the person who has the wonderful radio show, Mike Flynn, who has become a friend of literature and culture in Lowell, sans pareil, and of course the drummer who was here in the very beginning with us, Mr. Kevin Twigg. What? Didn't I say? Oh, if I missed the name, I thought I said Jerome Harris. And that's what happens. You get to be 95, folks. Sometimes you make the mistake, to put it mildly. That's Jerome Harris, Harris. And the original lyrics that we're going to sing when we start the tune are by Jack Kerouac, Neil Cassidy, his road buddy, and the hero of On the Road, who's now being discovered after all these years, and Allen Ginsberg, who also contributed one or two of the lines. It's called Pull My Daisy. Well, here we are in Lowell, Massachusetts, in this beautiful Middlesex College Hall with all of you tonight. And we're going to end the evening with a version of Pull My Daisy, this yay, verily out of sight. Now, I might have mentioned the guitar genius Jerome Harris's name wrong in the first place, don't you know? But I'm glad that Rene corrected me before all of you had to leave this extremely spontaneous type of show. Now, the first half, everything was written down, which at least gives you some frame of reference to draw from when you're trying to analyze the scene. But real music and real art and real life can't be written down because it's just real, you know what I mean. I'm sure you do, so if you read one of Jack's books, give it a good look, so you'll find that you'll feel much better yourself. And you could take those self-help videos that only make you feel more depressed and put them on someone else's shelf. So we hope that you enjoy this version of Pull My Daisy, and we're so glad to be with all of you tonight. So here we go, and the way we've always done the show before, we hope finally that I get it right. Pull my daisy, tip my cup, all my doors are open. Hop my heart for coconuts, all my eggs are broken. That's the song, I might have done it wrong, but Jack's voice is spoken. I'll pull my daisy, tip my cup, all my doors are open. Hop my heart for coconuts, all my eggs are broken. Hop my heart song, heart my life. Seraphs hold me steady. Hip my angel, harp my light. Lay it on the needy. Well, when we wrote this song back in 1959, we never thought that we'd be here in Lowell in 2026 today, playing for you in our own special way. So we're going to have the scene. We're going to hear on the machine known as the guitar, Mr. Jerome Harris play the song for you. That's the original melody, the way the Polonaise is supposed to go. We're glad you can hear it correct tonight. And we thank all of you for coming here. Yeah, your attendance is verily out of sight. We want to thank Mike Flynn for all that he would do. And before it's through, thank the distinguished people like Hassan Meli, who's here. And I'm going to hear the tape of his recording of what he recited when we were near. We just arrived late at night, and with no sleep, we're glad that we could be here out of sight. Well, I've got no more that I've got to say. We're going to hear Rene Hart finally play. Well, we've got a special treat for all of you tonight. You're going to hear an instrument associated with John Philip Sousa, but he plays it, and he knows how to play the glockenspiel right. He brought his glockenspiel all the way to Lowell so we could hear him play for you. So Kevin on his glockenspiel, he'll know just what to do. Daisy, tip my cup. All my doors are open. Hop my heart for coconuts. All my eggs are broken. Hop my heart, song, harp my light. Sirs, hold me steady. Hip my angel, harp my light. Hey, 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 hey. That's the way they used to scat sing on Moody Street and at parties of both French-Canadian households as well as everybody else back in 1943. So in the spirit of Jack, we want to bid all of you good night and thank you for coming and making us feel good and even all right. And in the spirit of creativity, let's all remember when Jack was here in Lowell a long, long time ago. His dad, Leo, only spoke French to him at home, and Jack, like a good, obedient French-Canadian, because he didn't even speak English till he was 6 years old, enjoyed the show. And his father said to him, Mon cher Jacques, si tu restes ici sur le vaisseau, tu seras obligé, comme ta mère, à travailler toute la vie dans une factory. So when Jack got a chance to go to distinguished Horace Mann and do better than anybody thought a French-Canadian boy in the 1940s can, He set academic records as well as football records because he was great at both. Unfortunately for us, he went to Columbia University so we could get to know him as living in New York from time to time. Well, the third week in practice, he got to prestigious Columbia U. And being a great halfback and an extraordinary football player, he knew just what to do. But he broke his leg the third week in practice, and the great Lou Little said, "Jack, you're through." But he understood that if his football career, his life wasn't over, and rather than basking in someone else's field of clover, he decided to continue writing, which was his first love anyway. And he wrote an enormous amount of books, and one called Town and the City came out that only sold a little over 1,000 copies. And when I met him in 1956, he was like an unemployed French-Canadian lumberjack and didn't have any of the possible things that he has today. Well, as Joyce Johnson said in her book, Minor Characters, she was with him when she sent him $30 to the Western Union so he could buy a sandwich and get a bus ticket in case any college newspaper gave it a good review. Well, he was just as astounded as all of us that before that day was through, his life would never be the same. And he told me, since I knew him before and after that occurrence, that while it made his literary career, it ruined his life. So for all of you here who love Jack's work and love Lowell Celebrates Kerouac and the new culture center that's going to be made at last, let's not remember where we are and love the past and realize that the past is our present in history. And what we did tonight in 50 years will be the good old days for someone else to see. And thank you very much for coming, and hope that all of you, whether or not you think all of this is certifiably crazy, will go home and pull your daisy. Thank you. Again for Jerome Harris, guitar master. The incredible bass player, Mr. Rene Hart. For Kevin, the real deal on the glockenspiel and the drums. For Adira Amram, without whom was the president, and he's the only president you can hang out with and have a conversation with that we know of yet, and that'll happen again too, Mr. Mike Flynn. And for the ex-president who loves Lowell Celebrates Kerouac just as much as a neighbor living right close by in Nashua, Mr. Reverend Steve Eddington. And the author Holly George Warren, because she's running the book about Kerouac, Jim Sampas, who helps to keep that new building in our hopes and prayers, and it will happen. The first part's already happened. Someone bought it who loves Jack's work. And all of you for coming, and I hope you'll support it. If you're free tomorrow, bring a poem, a song, or anything with you, and go to the sign-up sheet, and you can do one piece, and we'll have a good time. No rehearsal, no criticism, no nothing. And you find out you're a whole lot better than you are told you are by most authorities. Thank you, and bless you, and good night.
Let's hear it one more time for the maestro, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Amram.